time to chat with a pro who knows, Jackie, and we have definitely a pro who knows about everything you can imagine when it comes to your vehicle. And this time of year, Joe, the car guy from Westside Auto Pros.
Good morning.
Morning.
People getting all primed and ready to head on down the road.
It's getting close. It seems like winter doesn't want to let go, but summer's coming.
Yep.
Absolutely. So we're starting to plan spring trips, summer vacations, things like that.
Yep.
So now's the time to start looking at our vehicle to make sure it's prepared.
Exactly. Yeah. Day to day, it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Everybody's comfortable in their day-to-day routine. They go out 99 times out of 100 or more, their car starts and goes, and there's no problem. But what happens when you're 500 or 1,000 miles from home, nobody, and possibly there was something preventable along the way.
And are you putting any extra strain on your vehicle? Like if you're used to just going from home to work, maybe picking up the kids, that's the only route you go. But now instead of going 20 miles or 30 miles a day, you're going hundreds of miles.
There's some strain on it. Highway miles are actually better on your vehicle than the stop and go traffic in town. But yeah, there is some strain that's in it, especially depending on where you're going and when.
Absolutely.
If you're going to the middle of the desert in August, then there's going to be some more strain.
Checked out. Yeah.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
All right.
What are some of the things that you think we should just keep an eye on before we hit the road at all?
Yeah, so there's two different ways you can do this. Any vehicle that's got more than 30,000 miles, even though that doesn't sound like a lot, things wear, things break, they should come in and they should have an inspection done. That usually runs $100 or less, and it's going to go through steering, suspension, it's going to go through tires, brakes, fluids. Any type of service that's due by the manufacturer is going to be looked at.
So you basically nut and bolt the vehicle from front to back.
Exactly.
Okay.
That way you have some peace of mind if you're going on that trip, or if you're going to a baseball tournament every weekend, which I know a lot of parents are, or whatever type of activity the kids are doing.
Absolutely.
Now, what's one of the more common things that you'll discover while going through some of these inspections that you say, well, this is just a routine inspection, because somebody might come in and say, I'm going to get it inspected, but there's nothing wrong with my car.
Right.
And then you find some. What's the most common
The
thing?
two most common things would be brakes, because you can't see them. You don't know. I mean, there's no warning sign until you're done.
Just thin brake pads?
Yeah, thin brake pads, ready for normal service on brakes. Number two would probably be tires. They're just flat worn out, and they need to be replaced before you log thousands of miles.
And that's something, even though you see them every day, unless you are really paying attention to them, it could get away from you. And before you know it, you have slicks.
Yeah, I know. I walk out, every morning, and I'm like, yep, they're tires. They're on there. But I mean, I'm not measuring them and looking and seeing, how much life I have left or anything like that.
Getting the penny out each day.
Right, yeah. There's Abraham.
There's Abraham. You don't do that. Okay, good. So let's talk about things we can do. How can we stay prepared to make sure
these
that
are
we're
things
sound
that
mind?
that you should do no matter how many miles are on your vehicle if you're getting ready to go on a trip. Check the fluids, check your air pressure in your tires.
Okay, fluids. Though, let's get a little more specific on fluids, because you might just say, okay, windshield washer fluid, radiator fluid. How do I check the radiator fluid?
Sure, yeah. A lot of vehicles have overflow tanks so that you can look, and it says right on their ad with an arrow. If you're above the ad, you're good. If you're below it, you need to add.
And that's where you add the because it isn't like it used to be with the fairly newer cars. You don't just open up the radiator cap.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And check your oil, your transmission fluid, and that's something that most shops, including ours, if you stop by and say, "Hey, will you check my fluids?" We'll just do it.
All right.
It's 3 minutes in the parking lot, and we can check your fluids or your tire pressure or something for you. So that's something that would be free of charge almost everywhere.
And it's probably something you should learn how to do yourself. So I imagine if you guys could show. If I'm heading out on the road, I'm like, just show me what I'm supposed to be looking at.
Yeah, that's what I do is come with me.
Yeah.
Let's go look at it.
And absolutely.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I like
and if they come back 5 more times, that's fine too. But, come with me, let's go learn.
Right, so what else should we check?
I would make sure, do you have a roadside assistance plan? Or if you do not, do you at least know what you're going to do in the event something happens?
Yeah, what number am I going to call?
Yeah, what number are you going to call?
What number are they going to call, Joe?
Well, they can call us. That would be good.
I mean, yeah.
Anytime you come into our shop and you have service done, you get 4 months of free roadside assistance. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. other than the service on your car.
It just comes with it.
Yep. If you get an oil change, you get roadside assistance. So you come see us 3 times a year. You have free roadside assistance year round.
And that's something you got to remember.
And it's nationwide.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
It's nationwide. You don't have to be in the Des Moines metro area. So
if you come in and get an inspection before you go on a trip and you're leaving in a month or so, you're covered.
Exactly.
What a deal
That's
that
very
is.
nice.
Yep.
Okay, so what are some other things we should know so that make sure we're staying prepared?
it's something is, do you have a spare tire?
And this is something you want to keep in mind because sometimes you don't.
Yep, I do not know the exact percentage of new vehicles being built without them, but with fuel economy standards raising, spare tire is one of the weight things that goes, and they replace it with a canister and a compressor that you pump up your tire and hopefully get to the next spot.
Now, if you have an older vehicle, and the only reason I'm mentioning this is because I saw this about 2 weeks ago. Somebody did have a spare tire, and they had a flat, and they were on the side of the road, and they had never checked it before, and they couldn't get the spare tire. It was a truck, and it had to drop down. They couldn't get it to lower.
Yeah, there's two major things that we see in Iowa. One, the spare tire is just plain flat.
Right.
The air pressure's never been checked in it,
Haven't
so now
looked
you
at
have
it in
two
a
flats.
while.
Or B, exactly what you said. If it's a vehicle that it's up underneath, all that brine, salt, sand, everything gets up underneath there. It rusts the hoist that holds it up there, and it may or may not come down. So that would be something to have checked during that inspection. Is your spare tire functionable?
Now, would you guys be able to fix that in case there's a problem with that coming down? And that's a great idea.
Absolutely, and there's a couple different options on how you can do that.
Okay. Perfect. That
Wonderful.
works.
All right. So just making sure you're staying prepared in case you're lucky enough to go on any trips anytime soon. You want to do it with a sound peace of mind. So it sounds like you can have your own checklist, but if you don't even want to worry about that, you can take it to the experts and you'll do all it for us.
Yep.
Wonderful. If people want to find you, get in touch with you, how can they do that, Joe?
They can do that online at westsideautopros.com. They can call me at 225-9090. Or they can come on down and see us.
That works.
Love it.
That's awesome. Keeping people safe. That's your job.
Thank
That's right.
you.
Perfect. All right. It's not